What's up guys, Phoenix here. This video is going to be another Dev Pro Duel video. This time we're going to be trying to play with the Herald of Perfection deck yet again, or specifically Herald Agents. People really wanted me to play this deck and they wanted me to take some other options. So I decided to change up the deck a bit and we're going to attempt to test its Cosmo matchup today, because certainly this deck can't have both a terrible Monarch and Cosmo matchup. Can it? Can it? But the changes that were made to the deck were, I took out the Terratop engine and the whole Speedroid thing because they honestly were just kind of bad, just kind of terrible. And also it was a very low fairy count that the last build that I played with had, so I added more fairies, and they also just happened to be amazing cards in the form of Star Seraph Scepter and Star Seraph Sovereignty, because these cards allowing you to potentially have a Scepter Sovereignty combination, allowing you to draw more cards, doing things like that, cycling into more of your engine, establishing a big body in the form of potentially Deltaros or Masquerade, and also just the ability for you to normal summon Scepter and it to be a body on the board, while also searching a Sovereignty to allow you to have a negation if you had a Herald Perfection up. Just simple +1 cards like Earth and Scepter are just something that are really key in this sort of deck, because it allows you to put things on the board and actually poke, get some damage in, but then also have negates that you just searched and replaced themselves with. So there is that. Brilliant Fusion is still in the deck because Brilliant Fusion with Scepter Sovereignty seems amazing, for one, and two, being able to add back Shine Balls off Lazuli and stuff and extend your Venus plays is pretty cool. Being able to search Hyperion or Christia off the Brilliant Fusion is cool. All these different plays. Brilliant Fusion is very easily the best card in the deck. If you cut Brilliant Fusion, then there probably isn't a reason to play this deck anymore. Because it literally facilitates legitimately every single good play the deck can do. But honestly, I'm not sure how this deck even potentially fares against anything. The Cosmo matchup, I don't know how you even beat an established board with this deck, because Dark Destroyer and Forerunner are legitimately huge. I mean, you can wall them out, but still there's the problem of Strike exists, Dark Lady exists, all this sort of nonsense. And the Cosmo ships actually float, which is actually just an inherent problem. So honestly, I think this deck can literally only win the Cosmo matchup if you establish first before they even put a single thing on the board. But even then, it seems like it might struggle. But anyway, other than that, that's pretty much all I want to give for explanation for this, because it's still just a standard Herald of Perfection deck. It's trying to prevent your opponent from playing through the use of Herald of Perfection. So we're just gonna jump into the first game and see how this shit goes. Alright, so first game, all of which of the games that I play are going to be against Cosmo. That should have been indicated earlier in the video, as well as indicated by the title of the video you're watching, so it shouldn't have been a surprise, haha. But anyway, playing against my friends, and honestly, I love the fact that I'm just able to play against my friend for these videos, because it makes it so easy to actually film these videos and get them out in a timely manner. If I had to actually slog through ranked for hours like I was originally trying to do this format of video with, I would legitimately slip my wrists. Being able to actually message him and say yo, get on, I need some games, and he's like, yo, I got you fam, just don't expect perfect play. I'm like, yeah, sure, that's fine. It's still better than half of the people I've played on this channel beforehand. Some people are legitimately just terrible. It doesn't matter if you're not perfect as long as you're consistent. But anyway, so my opening hand was kind of alright. Had a Scepter, had a Gem Knight Lazuli, had a Herald Perfection and a Dawn of the Herald and a pre-prep in it. So I used pre-prep, get another Dawn of the Herald, get another Herald Perfection, play Dawn of the Herald, and get the Herald that I used for the other Herald's tribute requirement, back off Dawn of the Herald, summon Scepter, get Sovereignty, so I have 2 negates in my hand, plus a Dawn of the Herald to potentially follow things up with. So he goes Terraforming for Cosmo Town, shovels back some cards, and all is right with the world. He doesn't really do anything, he just reveals a bunch of cards and shovels them back, and then normal summons Farm Girl, attempts to tag out with Farm Girl's ability, and then I just discard Herald of Perfection for my Herald of Perfection on the board to negate the Farm Girl's tag out ability. That's the only way I see you potentially winning in this matchup, is you legitimately have to just negate all of their ways that they put monsters on the board. That's it. You can't go into an established board in any way, shape, or form and expect to do well. Now I make a slight misplay here. I probably should have just negated the E-Telly, but I negate the Straw Man after it gets summoned, and that gives him a Cosmo Town to be able to add it back, but he could have added back Farm Girl anyway, so he honestly just moved his cards around, and so I don't think it actually really mattered. But so I've used both of my negates. He still has 5 cards because this deck has incredibly good card quality, and so I just get to poke him with the Seraph, or the Scepter. Well, it is a Seraph. It's Star Seraph Scepter, and so I have to basically just end my turn because I have double Lazuli in my hand. Wow. And so at this point, the game is very, very much out of my control because he just gets to Cosmotown back to Strawman. Normal summon the Strawman, tag it out for Dark Destroyer, I have no response, and then Dark Destroyers my Herald of Perfection, and then he attacks over my Scepter. And then he uses Cosmotown, shuffling 2 back from his hand, back into his deck, and drawing 2. And I still have to deal with 2 back row, and now I don't even have the Sovereignty still in my hand because I had to use it as a negation. So, like, this is terrible. So I top deck a Scepter, which could have been great if I had the Sovereignty, or if it didn't get striked. Like, all of this is just very, very bad for me. But so the Scepter does get striked. He goes into his turn. He normally sends a Tin Can, pokes me for 3k with a Dark Destroyer, and then at the end phase, his Tin Can gets to trigger after he adds back a Strawman with Cosmotown for the second time in this game. So, like, at this point, like, the advantage is way too much for me to come back from, especially the fact that I have double Lazuli in my hand. Like, that's actually just, like, terrible. Even 1 is bad enough, but 2, come on now, it's bad. So I draw a Twin Twister, and I check his grave. I just decide to just surrender. There's no way I can keep playing this game. There's none. I'm not going to actually run the clock. I'm not going to do any of this nonsense. Like, there's no reason to keep playing. So next game, I get to start as well. I open with Manju, double Dawn of the Herald, and a Herald of Perfection. And here I actually just make a very, very big misclick. I was supposed to add another, like, Herald of Perfection, that way I could Dawn of the Herald, ditch a Herald for the Herald, add it back. But at this point, like, I just click on the first blue card that I see, and it was just Saphira. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I do run that card, damn it. But anyway, like, that's a misplay in one regard because of the fact that, like, it makes it to where, like, I can't put Herald of Perfection on the board and then have a negation. So at this point I have Twin Twister, but then I also am just going to get punished by this Farm Girl. Now, Herald of Perfection wouldn't have stopped me from getting punished by the Farm Girl, but it would have negated the Farm Girl, and it would have been damage step, so he couldn't have tagged out into a different ship. So there is that. So it would have at least negated the Farm Girl, and then the Twin Twister would have, destroyed Fire King Island. So there is that. But otherwise, like, it was just bad all around. I didn't want to, like, let him establish a Strawman on his field and anything like that. But he tags out his Farm Girl into Forerunner, adds back off of the Cosmotown that he added, and then he reveals 4 Cosmos, shovels them all back into the deck, and draws 4 cards again. And then sets 1 and passes. And so at this point, I've got Brilliant Fusion, and I'm just like, can I even make a play with any of these cards? Can I even do anything? And so my only play is legitimately to activate Dawn of the Herald, summon Herald of Perfection, sending Saphira, using Dawn of the Herald's ability to add back to Saphira, and then use Brilliant Fusion, send Lazuli, send a Shine Ball, and then Lazuli add the Shine Ball back to my hand so that I have a negation. It's so bad. It's the worst feeling. I have 1 negation that I just put there, and I don't get to do anything else. Like I said, I have no idea how this deck is supposed to even compete against Cosmo, because, like, it just doesn't seem like it's anything that would work. But so standby phase is 4 triggers. I contemplate negating it, but if I do negate it, he just gets to float into a smaller ship, and then that's going to be very bad for me because he just gets to add it back off Cosmotown. I have 1 negation, and that's all I have, and I don't need to, like, do anything else. So at this point, he activates an Allure of Darkness, draws 2, and discards his entire hand because he's just like, you know what, fam, I don't care. Like, I am going to give you the biggest handicap that my deck can potentially give you. I'm going to purposefully discard my entire hand if I don't get to a Dark Monster, even though statistically he should have gotten to a Dark Monster off that Allure. But still, like, the fact that he just decided to, say, you know what, this doesn't matter, activate this Allure, is like the most insulting thing in the world. This deck is literally garbage. This Herald of Perfection deck is literally the worst thing I've ever seen. Didn't even set the Raigeki first. He didn't even set the Raigeki because he doesn't need to. Like, he has all of these cards that he can just potentially use to just kill my entire field, my entire existence, my entire, like, life's meaning, and he's just not doing any of it. So, like, this is terrible. But anyway, I top deck into a Manju, and while I'm literally playing this top deck game because he literally took like a -4 off of his own Allure because he's literally just trying to give me any sort of a chance that I could potentially have, like, of winning even 1 game. Like, it's ridiculous. So I draw Manju, search for the Hymn of Light. I summon that Saphira that I added turn 1. Saphira gets to trigger, which will let me draw 2 cards and then discard a card. That way I can potentially pump up more negations off Herald of Perfection. So I draw a Shine Ball and a Sovereignty, and so I just discard the Dawn of the Herald out of my hand. And so during his turn, I make a minor misplay. I actually probably should have just negated the Forerunner here, because of if he had a card set like Solemn Strike or something like that, I would have been able to use Hymn of Light to protect the Herald of Perfection at resolution. but I didn't like really factor that in terms of my game plan. I just used the Heim of Light to protect my Saphira after his Forerunner attacked over. And now at this point, now that I have 4 fairies, I'm like, yeah, I can start negating some of your cards. Like that seems all right. And he does have the strike, so my misplay kind of is just terrible because of the fact that like I had the Hymn of Light in my grave last turn. I should have just negated the Forerunner, and then I could have, you know, dodged the Hymn of Light. The Forerunner would have stayed though, because of the fact that strike did negate the Herald of Perfection, but then I would have been able to negate future cards potentially. But as it stands, like he literally gave me the biggest chance I could have had to win this game by taking an intentional -4 off of an Allure of Darkness, not even setting his Raigeki, not even setting any of the cards that he could have set, or summoning any of the cards he could have summoned. He literally was just like, you know what, I'm going to give you the biggest chance that I can possibly give you, and you still can't win the game! Like, wow! What a champion! What a champion this deck is! Herald of Perfection, everybody! I have no idea how this deck is remotely able to beat Cosmos in any form or capacity. But anyway, so I get to go first again, because, like, goddamn, I need every single bone that can be thrown at me. So I normal summon Venus, pay 1,500, get my 3 Shine Balls out of the deck, and so at this point, I'm able to make Gachi Gachi. Remember this broken opening? You know, Venus, free Gachi Gachi, +2. Yo, 2,000 Venus, 2011. What's up? I remember you. But I've got Christia and the Agent of Mystery Earth in my hands, and I've also got Dawn of the Herald. So if I draw into like a Manju or something, then I can usually do something there. But I still have to just not like I still have to deal with the fact that he could put monsters on this board. Like I didn't open Herald of Perfection, and like that's the only way that I feel like this deck can even win because. Like Hyperion doesn't do anything, Christia does very little, because it's not bigger than Dark Destroyer. There's all these different things that come into play that make this matchup just absolutely terrible, but I digress. He terraformings, he gets a Fire King Island, he pops Fire King Island, he pops a Forerunner out of his hand with Fire King Island, special summons a Landwalker out of his deck, normal summons Strawman, uses Strawman to bring back the Forerunner. There's a Dark Planet that's banished because he played Allure of Darkness beforehand. And so he just attacks over my my Venus with the Landwalker, and then he gets to, I think, knock a material off the Gachi. Yeah, like nothing that actually really just matters. But he knocks a material off the Gachi, and so at this point, sets a card. His Forerunner dies at the end phase. He gets to go into Tin Can and get to reveal off of Tin Can. Now next turn, my play string is actually pretty legit. I have this entire play worked out in my head where I go summon Earth, get a search. And then I get to I get to synchro into Herald of the Arclight, and that'll put me at 4 fairies. And so that 4 fairy, like I'll just special summon Archlord Christia, I'll have Herald of the Arclight on my board, and then I'll be able to tribute that, and then when I do tribute it, that gets Herald of Perfection. You know, thought process, right? But, so he gets a Tin Can. I don't remember what he gets off the Tin Can, but as soon as I normal summon the Earth, he just Cosmojos the Landwalker away and banishes my Earth. And so I'm like, great, there went the plan. There went the juicy combo. So he Landwalker and then gets to float down into a Cosmol Dark Lady. So I don't even remember what he got off Tin Can at this point. But I don't think it ends up actually being relevant because I literally just like turn my things to attack mode and I just try to attack his pilots because I know I've got to force them out into the big ships because at this point the game is over. I cannot win the game. I cannot win the game. The only way I can win the game is like putting him under Christia, but Christia's effect to add back a fairy is mandatory. I bet you never thought that would have come up, but Christia's effect to add a fairy back to hand is mandatory. So what I'm basically doing here is that I attacked all of his things and made him force him to tag into whatever the bigger ones in his hand were that couldn't die. And so I attack my Gachi Gachi into his Dark Lady, take some damage, detach the Shine Ball, and then I attack the Shine Ball into the Dark Lady, and then I special the Christia because I've got 4 fairies. And Christia's effect is mandatory, so that means Dark Lady can negate it, and it gets shuffled right to the top of the deck. So now I'm stuck in an infinite loop, where every single turn, even if he doesn't kill me, the Dark Lady just keeps negating the Christia, and it keeps going back on top of the deck. So I literally cannot even draw a new card that's not Archlord Christia. So, like, like, he doesn't even have to kill me. He can literally just sit there and let me just get frustrated with the fact that I'm not drawing a new card every single turn, because every other card in my hand is dead. Like, this is ridiculous. I don't know how this deck is supposed to beat Cosmos. People value my honesty over anything else, and Jesus Christ, this deck sucks. Oh my god. Now, with Ritual Sanctuary and with the Cyber Angel stuff, the deck gets a lot better because it becomes a lot more consistent to drop turn 1 Herald of Perfection, and then also drop like maybe Saphira alongside it, and also be able to like have 3 to 4 to 5 potentially cards in hand, and that's like the juice. Having Herald of Perfection and Saphira on the board at the same time and having any form of negation to ensure them staying on the board, along with Hymn of Light in the grave, is huge. It's basically like an auto win, because Saphira will trigger at every end phase that you negate any single card in the game, and that's just insane because it gives you free negations, it lets you draw power and stuff like that. But until Ritual Sanctuary or until the Cyber Angel stuff comes out, this deck in its current TCG legal form is absolutely useless. It gets my seal of disapproval if you are interested. But anyway, other than that, I might actually play around with the OCG concepts of this deck using Ritual Sanctuary and the Cyber Angels. But that will definitely be at a future date. I wanted to test the TCG versions of this deck because it just, like, I like to try and keep things TCG legal here, but I will test OCG things if there's no actual, like, good TCG format for it. So that is that. But anyway, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description to all the nonsense that you need to see from me, like Facebook and Twitch links. If you want to check those out, definitely go for it. If you want to support me, clicking ads on my videos and disabling ad block when you view my videos is the best way to support me. If you can just take a couple seconds out of your day, disable your ad block, refresh the video, click an ad or two, and then put the ad block back on when you're done. It takes literally seconds out of your day, and it helps me out so much, and it motivates me to continue making these videos. So if you like seeing these videos in this format or this sort of content, then you know what to do to ensure that I keep making it for the indefinite future, and I would just be definitely appreciated. I cannot express how much it would be appreciated because it helps me out so much in the current spot I am in life. I'm sure we can all relate to that. But anyway, other than that, that's all for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Herald of Perfection. If you have any good OCG builds using like Ritual Sanctuary and the Cyber Angel stuff, definitely send those into my Facebook fan page. Link is in the description. I would love to see those, but I'm literally done with the TCG version of this deck for the time being. So anyway, that's it for this video, and as always, guys, take care.